Hey, this is Soldier7 here reporting for Right Wing Federation, and this video is about something I've been listening to for a long time and, hearing about it and everything. And I guess I've been meaning to do a video about it for, well, quite a while now. I mean, I was gonna do this video last month. But I don't know, I guess I never got around to it, so I'm going to decide to do it this month. And the topic of this video is gun control and muskets. And the reason why I bring up this video is that, for a long time, I hear about groups that are for gun control and people who advocate for stricter gun laws. Sometimes often talk about the Second Amendment, but by the time it was formed, it was, during a time where, people were using muskets. And that's, the argument I hear some of these people try to make is, well, when the founders formed the Second Amendment, they were using muskets and so forth. They used muskets and so forth to fight for the American Revolution and so forth. It was a different time. I mean, we're living in a different time now. I mean, what's the point of having an AR-15, an AK-47, an Uzi, a MAC-10, or an M60 or whatnot? I hear this a lot. And okay, yeah, during the American Revolutionary War, yes, the founding fathers, the Continental Forces and the militias and so forth, yes, used muskets and also used long rifles and cannons, which, yes, you were also allowed to own back then as well. And yes, private citizens were allowed to buy those things. Even private companies that involved a lot of shipping were allowed to buy them, especially for protection. But here's the thing. We look at that, at that time, and they compare it to now. But here's the thing. When the Second Amendment was written, yes, it was written at a time when, yes, there were mainly muskets and long rifles and so forth, everything I just mentioned. But let's not forget there was also this thing called the puckle gun, which, yes, was not a musket, and it was able to fire, well, I mean, I guess it never went into full production, but the idea behind it was that it was supposed to fire multiple rounds at once without reloading. And from what I understand, the founders knew about this and were quite interested in it. But anyway, let's talk about something else for a minute. Let's go back to like 1,000 years before the American Revolution. You had what? Yes, we had swords and we had, clubs, spears, javelins, all types of things. Yes, even had catapults, naganatas, and axes and so forth. Yeah, you name it. And yes, for shooting weapons, yes, you had bow and arrow. Yeah, you had crossbows and bow and arrows and so forth, which is another thing I want to get to. Around about 1,000 years before the American Revolution, there was a Chinese invention. In ancient China, there was a weapon known as the repeater crossbow, which, yes, you can look up and see for yourself. It was a crossbow that was meant to, when we think crossbows, we think one that shoots one at a time. Well, a repeater crossbow was a crossbow that was invented in China during the ancient times where you were able to fire more than once. And that's the whole purpose of this. My point is that when the founders formed the Second Revolution, do you think they had an understanding of that weapons of warfare were going to have evolved over the time, even during their time, and was probably going to continue to evolve as time goes on? That's just a question I felt that was worth asking. That's all I gotta say for right now. This is Soldier 7. Thanks for listening.